Hello everyone, this is Red from Red's Third Dimension Gaming, and today I'm bringing you a review on the Awakened Fate Ultimatum for the PlayStation 3. And this game is only $39.99. It's a pretty interesting game. This game is a sequel to the Guided Fate Paradox, which the first game took a normal teen who won the lottery and turned into God. And that was the first game. I didn't review that game because I was really busy with college. And I did play it. It was a fun game. I liked the story better than this one, but this game is still a fun dungeon crawling RPG. The story of this game, it takes place several years after the first game and the powerful Satanael was defeated. After those events, the devils were still dominant in their constant war against the angels. So in this game again, the angels are looking for an ultimate weapon to fight against the devils. After the angels created the Fate Awakening crystal, which basically this crystal turns any human into a god that is compatible with it. Your character, Shin, is walking home one day and then is stabbed in the heart by a group of devils. He then dies and is reinvigorated into God and is guided by the Fate Awakening crystal, which is implanted in his chest. And he finds himself in the middle of a war between angels and devils. I like the first game that was like by choice and random, but I don't really care too much for the protagonist in this game. I like the first game's story better. This one's okay, but I don't like how they're getting into the whole religion type of business. I think they should keep God out of the video game. I don't think they need to create God. They call him ultimate weapon, and apparently God is both evil and good at times. I don't really like seeing God in that light, but that's how the game goes. We can make really evil decisions or really good decisions. There's a choice that affects the rest of the game and how you play it. One of the first choices that you get to make in the game is that you can choose to save these few angels that are with you, or you can let them die and go and help fight the demons with the rest of the angels. So the righteous path, even though you go down that route, still leads to consequences that make it seem like it wasn't such a good idea. And the same can be said for evil path, which is to just let them die and go and help save the other people. So there's always consequences depending on what you do. What I would have rather had him set the story up as is heaven is looking for an ultimate weapon against the devils. You don't need to call him God. That's why I don't like the whole story. It seems like that could be insulting a lot of Christians in some way. But that's their decision. That's what they chose. I would have just left God out of it and made it like as if you need to be an ultimate weapon and not having you called God 50 million times. They do say it a lot. They call you God several times, and it's just like a little weird when you're a Christian and this is what you're seeing in a game. Another problem I have with this game, and even your character, Shin, even says, why is there a scientist with the angels? To me, that still sounds weird because science and Christianity never really work out. So why would they put that in the game too? That kind of makes it a little strange if you're a strong Christian why they put science in there. So depending on what hard choices you make in this game, good or evil, it will impact the lives of people on Earth and Celestia, which is basically like heaven. It's just the world that you're in. I don't know why they don't call it heaven either, but they call it Celestia. In the menus of this game, you will have several different parts of the game that you can go to. For options, you can change the language from English to Japanese, which is really good. You can change the saving icon from each person that you choose, and you can change the speed of the messages too, and even the dungeon settings, which is all very nice. Because a lot of people, if they don't like listening to the English version of the game, which I don't think this game does a bad job, I only don't like the redhead Ariel, because that's the scientist and she gets a little mean. I really like Jupiel, which she's an awesome character, and I don't mind her at all. She's very nice and kind-hearted. There is also the save and the load option, which you should save before every time going into a dungeon, because if you die with any items, even your swords, anything in the dungeon, you will lose it all. You kind of just go back to the screen, but you lose it all. So you might as well just load the game back up. And I don't like how they did that. I know they're trying to make it more difficult, and I don't like that at all. They should have an option where you don't lose all that, or just have an easy, normal, hard mode like how the Atelier series has that type of a system. There's an art gallery where you can look at all your past CGs, and there's a music hall and a library where you can read up on all your enemies. You can also strengthen your weapons and armor and skill crystals. There is a shop and storehouse lets you organize your items in any fashion that you like. Customization. Basically in customization you can map out what skills you want as an angel or as a devil, which I don't understand this at all. This doesn't make sense to me. If you're fighting devils, you think it would contain only angels, but when you're fighting in battle, you change into an angel to do more damage against devils, and you change to a devil form to fight against angels. Why would there be bad angels? There's a lot of them too. There's a lot of bad angelic enemies, which I don't understand. Isn't this game supposed to be about angels fighting devils? Then why are you fighting against angels? But that's what they decided to come up with. I would make it all just fighting against demons and devils, not anything like that. You can also change your equipment, and you can go to any dungeon that you've been to before and level up. And you can also go to next event, which basically takes you to the next part of the story. The dungeons you have to complete at certain times to move forward in the story, and they can sometimes be difficult. At many times I felt like I was struggling at the very beginning. I died. I could not stop dying, so I let myself die, and I was leveling up while I was doing it, and then the second time I went through, it seemed easier. As you level up, the game gets much better and feels easier, and the story does progress well. It's very engrossing. When you're battling, it's a very simple system. It's not a turn-based RPG. They call it a roguelike RPG, where you can switch from being an angel to a demon, and while you're in a dungeon, you have to watch each one of your point systems, because as you're moving around, your AC points will go down, and you'll have to eat an apple or a certain food item to get that back up, because once that goes down, you'll be out of it. There's also SP and HP. HP is your health points. SP is your special points, where when you turn into an angel or a demon, every time you hit an enemy, your points will go down in SP. Every time you're hit, your health points will go down. I don't mind the game style. I think not having to go into another screen and then fighting is okay. I just wish they would have done a little more to it. You can also use your right analog stick to choose a special attack, and then you hit L1 to use that attack. I don't think it's a bad game. I don't think it's a great game. It's a decent game. I do think the battling system is better than Criminal Girls Invite Only, and overall the gameplay is fun as a whole. It just seems like they could have added more to it. Graphically, the game could look better, but it is already at a discount price, so it's not that big of a deal. Overall, it looks better than some games that NIS puts out. Won't lie about that. And I don't think it looks that bad during the cutaways dialogue scenes. They look really good. So what they could improve on is the dungeons and your character in the game. Every detail to the characters, enemies, and dungeons could look better. The enemies aren't really that scary, but what they do make sure you get to see is some of the bosses in the dialogue scenes, and they do look a lot better when it's like that. But then you go back to the fighting over the top, and it's just a slash back and forth. I wish there was like a block button. That would be nice too. It would be nice to have a block button, and that way you wouldn't take as much damage. As a whole, the combat isn't that bad, but like I said, it could use a block button. Overall, this game looks decent, could be improved upon when you're in the dungeons. The story is good, but I think the first game, the Guided Fate Paradox, had a better story than this one. As you progress through the story, it gets better, and the gameplay is so and so. I don't understand why they have you fighting angels and demons when the story at the beginning doesn't present at all that there's evil angels at all. So why would you be fighting angels anywhere towards the beginning at all? And it kind of throws the story off too. It's just a little weird why you have the two choices. I understand they're trying to diversify the gameplay, but it's not needed here. You could have like added a block button instead of having that and just made better abilities, and they could have improved upon the gameplay more. So my final score for this game is a 7.5 out of 10. That's not a bad score, that's not a great score, that's a good score. I'd give the first game an 8 out of 10 because I did like that story a lot better. But there's a lot of improvements they could have made to the game to make it better, and I look forward to seeing what the next sequel will be. Maybe we'll have a return of the first game type of story, maybe with a girl protagonist. That would even be cooler. If you had a female protagonist, had a couple of male angels and female angels, but like an equal mix, not just all female and like maybe 1 or 2 males. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe. If you'd like to buy the game, use the Amazon link below. For more gameplay walkthrough videos on the Awakened Fate Ultimatum, check out my channel for more. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.